have all of my assets in the composition, I can start editing each layer. This tutorial is just going to show you how to move something from point A to point B. So we are just changing where an object is at a given point in time. Over here we have, and I'm in the composition palette, all of the eyes. And if I click the eyes next to each layer, it will hide those layers. But a really easy way to isolate a single layer is to click the little dot right next to the eye. And you can choose which layer you want to work on. So let's say I want Hive. I want to work on this single layer. I can push the little dot button and it will isolate everything else. But because I want two objects to line up, I'm going to select the connect. So now I've got these two dots. These are the only two layers showing. The other ones are there, but they're just hidden. So the first thing I want to do is move Hive from point A to point B. So I'm going to choose this, click the drop down, and we want to transform it. So here's where you can tell an object what to do, where it should go at a given point in time. We want to add first a keyframe, and then we want to move forward in time, and then we want to apply the changes to it so that it will automatically keyframe. So first step, I'm going to my position, and I'm going to add a keyframe. And I'm now at this point in time here. Here's the current time indicator. And I want Hive to be off of the page. So I'm going to slide it off, and I'm holding the shift key so that it doesn't move up or down, so that everything still aligns. So right now I've got a keyframe. I've got my position of my object at this point in time. And let's say I want it to slowly move across the page over 3 seconds. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this now up to 3 seconds. Okay, and then I can move my object where I want it to be at that point in time. Okay, so I'm holding the shift key so that it doesn't move up or down. And there I've got my first animation. So if I go back in time, it started here, and if I move forward in time, it ends here, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing to connections, except I want connections to come in from the right. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to collapse this layer, and I'm going to go to my connections layer. Click the drop down, click the transform. I want to position it, so I'm going to add a keyframe. Click the stopwatch to add a keyframe. And this is where I'm telling it where to start. So it's the starting keyframe. I'm going to slide this off to the right. And I'm going to move this up to my point in time to 3 seconds. And now I can tell at 3 seconds where I want this to be. So now that I'm at ahead in time, I'm going to move this in. I want it to end there. Okay. So it added another keyframe when I changed the position. So let's watch this. I'm going to drag this back in time. I can slowly see how this happens, right? I can kind of drag my keyframe till preview the animation, or I can hit the space bar. So go back to where you want it to start and hit the space bar. So there you go, your first animation. I'm going to hit space bar again to stop the playing of that. So that's just a very basic positioning of moving something from point A to point B. You can also take the object and you can change the position going the X and the Y values as well. And that's it.